Let's talk about Ollie, because I think it's a really good opportunity for him to come back in and really show us what he can do. You know, he's got 3 games now to bed in and get himself going. Because I was actually speaking to Gareth about this, because Jhon Duran is wonderful. Don't get me wrong, and some of the goals he scored have been fantastic, and he's won games for us off the back of that. But I do think sometimes we can get blinded by, it has to be Jhon Duran or Ollie Watkins, or Ollie Watkins is shit and Jhon Duran's now the best thing since sliced bread. But I mean, for me, like, watching it from my, I guess, coaching experience background that I used to be involved with, the Brentford game, when Brentford were absolutely flying, Ollie Watkins was unplayable, was absolutely phenomenal in that game. And then he comes on against Southampton. Yes, Jhon Duran scored, but I didn't think Jhon Duran had a good game at all in that game. Watkins comes on and it changes the setup of the game, but he misses some absolutely ridiculous chances. Fair enough. Okay, that's what happens. But Nottingham Forest, I was at the game. Jhon Duran scores a great header. But apart from that, he was rubbish. I didn't think he had a good game at all. And then Leipzig, I thought Ollie Watkins was excellent in the first half, sets up John McGinn's goal. Jhon Duran comes on in the second half, is excellent again. Duran is brilliant against Man City, don't get me wrong. But I don't think that this kind of Ollie Watkins sort of is all of a sudden now terrible. It should really come into play, because I don't think he's actually been that bad. Like, he couldn't do anything on Thursday when we're down to 10 men. So to come in now for 3 games, I think is a really good opportunity for him to show what a good player he is.
Well, it is a good opportunity for him, and he obviously hasn't got looking over his shoulder now, has he? The spectre of Duran kicking things on the bench, waiting for his chance to come on. He'll probably be kicking staff soon, won't he? Kicking like coaches, just kicking everybody, kicking who he can, kicking the ref, and then doing this afterwards. Why have you sent me off? So that's obviously a good thing. I think the difference with Ollie this season, it's just the big chance he's missed. He has missed the most big chances in the Premier League this season. 15. Haaland's got 14. So there you go.
Yeah. I just feel like we're so stat mad these days with anything with the Premier League. It's like,
we've seen it, haven't we? We've seen it with our eyes.
Yeah, of course, he's missed big chances.
From the Arsenal game,
Erling Haaland was the best striker of the last 2 years in the Premier League, and like you said, he's missed 14 big chances. So
yeah, I know, but obviously look where Man City are now. I think,
but he's not. He's not. But what I'm saying is, no one's going to turn around and say he's crap. Like,
no, I think it's a massive, massive, massive overreaction when people say that. And I think he's definitely a better all-round striker than Duran. Duran's getting credit lately when he tracks someone back and presses someone. And obviously you gave it him earlier for that, at least the effort to get in at Shah and make it difficult for him, although he obviously got himself sent off for his trouble. But Watkins is definitely an all-round player, better all-round player, better hold-up play, a better runner, more intelligent. Duran, I think it's been a little bit of a... I hope I don't get absolute pelters for this in the comments, but wow, I'll take your free speech. Tell me what you think, right? But I think it's been a circumstantial set of events where Duran's scored a few more. Wow, my God, how's he managed to do that goals? And Watkins has missed a few more. Oh my God, how's he managed to miss that? And combine those two phenomenons together, it means that Duran is now has had the starting berth, obviously up until the red card. Watkins hasn't become a
deservedly so. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, Watkins was off it, wasn't it? And Duran kept scoring when he came on. But I think for Watkins to prove now, it's for him to prove what kind of player he is, and he hasn't had the plaudits like he was getting last season. And I know
No.
this whole thing, I was carrying an injury over the summer, and that's why I had a slow start. Well, it's time now to show us what you're all about, Oliver. And I back him to do it. I think what two better games could you want than Brighton at home, and then obviously Leicester at home as well. Like, you've got two great opportunities there to show us what you're all about. The other question is this, Richard: does it mean now that Mr. Louie Barry is going to get an opportunity maybe in early January?
Well, look, I was saying it months ago, and everyone was like, "Nah, no way, he's not good enough." Da, 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 da. And I'm like, "Look, man, a player is a player. If you know when you see a good player, and you know if a player has that kind of what is it, that intangible? I keep saying that word, but that quality that whatever level you put them in, they will be able to withstand it. And I just think Louie Barry's maybe got something that some other players haven't necessarily got in terms of ruthlessness, in terms of obviously the form that he's in at the moment, direct play. That's what we're missing. Just someone. I know Morgan Rogers is very direct, but particularly out wide to cut in. He reminds me of an Anthony Gordon type player. Pacey, direct, not really any frills about his game, but he can cut inside and he'll shoot. He's not bothered, and I think that's maybe something that we need. I'd probably still be leaning towards a championship loan move, but I think all bets are off. Particularly with Duran being suspended. I know it's only for 3 games, but that this is the type of thing that might have to be weighed up. What if we get more injuries? What if we get more suspensions? Are we going to be able to operate with just one striker for various games? I know, as I say, Barry's more of a wide player coming inside, but yeah, who knows? But look, quality is quality at the end of the day, and he's certainly done everything I've asked of him and more on loan at Stockport. So we'll see what happens. Few comments coming in. Adam says Watkins has already proved it. Martin says Duran can actually strike a ball. Well, we definitely know that. He definitely can. Kevin said he expects Bailey and Ramsey back, if not Monday. Definitely against Leicester would be like 2 new signings. Well, I thought Bailey looked pretty sharp as well when he came on, putting a good ball in for Watkins that just got hit over the bar. So it'd be nice to see Bailey on Monday. Very nice to see him. Obviously, it would be nice to see Ramsey as well. Jason said Watkins reminds him of Dean Saunders in some ways, and Duran reminds him of Daly and Atkinson. And another Villa podcast, Giggs, says 6 goals in the next 3 games for Watkins. Well, that would be excellent if he could do that. I would absolutely love it if he could do that. And I do think as well with the Duran Watkins thing, I do think that Jhon Duran is brilliant for us supporters because he scores goals from absolutely anywhere. Obviously, the Everton goal, the Bayern Munich goal was unreal, the Leipzig goal. But I do think that certainly for the Leipzig goal and certainly for the Everton goal, Unai Emery would have been thinking, why are you shooting from there?
Yeah.
And it's like, This is not what I've asked you to do. So there is an element of he will do those things and he's off the cuff in that way. And he's probably less of an Unai Emery type player than, say, if Steve Bruce was manager, he'd love Jhon Duran because he'd just be like, oh, just give him the ball and he'll win the game for us. He'll do something. Whereas I don't know if Unai Emery still is kind of 100% sure with him.
Well, you could see Unai's reaction when he got sent off, and he just sat there stony faced. And I look at it and think the club were always going to try and get the challenge in there, because people were saying, oh, well, the club wouldn't have appealed it if they didn't think it was a red card. I think if they thought they had any chance of appeal getting overturned, they would definitely be appealing it. But I think it said a lot. I think if Emery had actually thought, you know what, this is definitely unfair, he probably would have greeted Duran and patted him on the back, and he just sat there stony faced while Duran kind of stood next to him, absolutely destroyed some kind of water bottle, and then, walked down the tunnel. So I'm not convinced that Duran is an Emery type player, but you've got to give Emery credit as well, because he's bowed to the pressure, but also by the fact that Duran has proved himself by getting goals when he started, because he was always said that he can only do it as a sub. Then I think he got 4 in 4 starts, so he gave him the opportunity. But you feel like Watkins is more of an Emery type player in terms of being able to follow instruction, and he's less likely to get visibly annoyed if he gets subbed, less likely to start kicking things, less likely to be as emotional and passionate. although that being said, what have we said from the
We
get go
need a bit
tonight?
of that.
We need a
Yeah,
bit of emotion and passion. So you got to be careful what you wish for. And I'm saying it as I talk. Like I'm thinking, like if we can just harness that in the right kind of way, there's still a massive, massive potential there.
absolutely. No team wants to play against. No team wants to play against the Ollie Watkins that we saw against Brentford, and no team wants to play against Jhon Duran that we've seen, multiple times this season, because you just don't quite know what you're going to get with him. I just feel like I just could see some of the runs that he was making on Thursday, and they were nothing runs. They were just straight runs, and you need to peel off your centre
Yeah,
half, or you need to make a diagonal run so that then the
bend it.
play that yeah. So you either need to bend your run, or you need to widen the angle away from the defender to give yourself an angle to receive a pass, or you need to make a diagonal run if it's a straight ball, so that then you can run onto it and behind the defence. So he did, but he just when Rodgers was running through, if you watch it again, so many of his runs were just straight, and that's not effective. And I've seen that a few times against Nottingham Forest when he started as well. He just wasn't making an angle off the man to receive the ball. And Watkins does that, but then obviously Watkins' first touch is sometimes questionable, and then that's what leads him to missing a number of his chances. So yeah, I think if you could combine the two, then you'd have a hell of a striker. Let's talk Go
I
on,
was just
sorry,
going to
mate.
say,
Go on.
finally, I still wouldn't be surprised if he left in the winter. If he went, if something happened with some kind of deal where they get a player and they want and they get a fee for Duran. I mean, I think with Duran, he's unpredictable on the pitch, and I think what will happen off the pitch will be unpredictable as well. And there was a links, wasn't there, with Osherman today? Have you seen that?
Mm.
Victor Osherman, obviously this highly touted striker that all the big teams are after, and apparently Napoli will be all over Duran, and we got Osherman. It's like, whoa, hang on a minute, maybe Monchi's going to do a bit of dealies in the background. It gets quite exciting, but who knows? I mean, he might be a whole ender hero and break the record for goals for Aston Villa. He might be gone early January. He might have played his last game for us. Watch this space with Jhon Duran.